It's time we talk about the Anthony Davis situation, and you may be asking yourself, what situation am I even talking about? Well, to put it in one word, inconsistency. One of two words that's been tied to AD's name the past 2 years. It seems that one game he'll go for 30, and then the next game he'll go for 15. This is a very big problem, and this was very evident at times in the playoffs last season. The question as to why Anthony Davis could play like a superstar one night, and then the next game play like Big Baby Davis has been unanswered far too long, and today we are going to explore why AD is so-called inconsistent. Before we talk about last night's game versus the Kings, let's actually talk about last season. As we all know, the Lakers were terrible to start off last season. Despite Bron's injury, AD led the Lakers on crazy numbers, and when I say crazy, just take a look at the numbers for yourself. AD was dominant before this point of the season last year, but this is where his numbers start to look like NBA 2K. The first game of this insane run, he had 37 and 18 versus the Nets. He then followed that up with 38, 16, 4 blocks and 1 steal. 2 games later, after a 30 and 18 performance, he put up 37, 21, 5 blocks and 5 steals, 25, 13, 3 blocks, 1 steal, missed the game on a back-to-back, came back for 2 more games with at least 25 and 10 in both games. Oh, and by the way, 7 combined blocks in both games, and then had one of the best back-to-back performances you probably never even heard of, 44, 10 and 3 blocks versus the 1 seed Bucks on their home floor. And then the next game, goes to the Wizards and puts up 55, 17 and 3 blocks. AD would be injured for 2 games after this, but then returns from injury to drop 3 straight 30-point games, at least 10 rebounds, 1 block, and 1 steal in every single one of these games. Sadly, he got injured and sat out for more than a month after this. But anyways, back to this. Don't think this was just a good stretch of games from AD, because after he got back, he picked up right back where he left off, with a multiple 25 and 10, 30 and 10, and you can see some 30 and 20, 20 and 20, 35 and 15 games, and a 40 ball. And that's just strictly offense. Take a second to go back and look at his steals and blocks. So the AD inconsistent narratives obviously didn't hold up much during the regular season. Now let's take a look at the last playoffs. The first round versus the Grizzlies, he had 2 poor scoring nights, but he was still historically great on defense, bad scoring night or not. The second round versus the Warriors, I'm not even sure you can say he had a bad game. Yeah, he only had 11 in game 2, but he was 5 of 11. He was still elite on defense. He just wasn't getting a lot of looks this game. Oh, and by the way, remember this point because I will be coming back to this. Then the Western Conference Finals, 2 great games, 1 bad game all around. But look at the numbers. Where exactly is the inconsistency fans complain about? Alright, AD is inconsistent this season. Where, besides a bad second half versus the Nuggets, a game where he was injured, and last night where he actually had a bad game for all 4 quarters of the game on both sides of the ball, AD has been pretty consistent this season. And you might say, well, you can't just say he's not consistent looking at the box score, you have to actually watch the games. And you're exactly right, but just think about it. If a player can be called inconsistent time and time again, but the box score itself shows that he's producing at a higher level than 99% of the league, there has to be something else holding him back. And that's why today's special guest is D'Angelo Russell. Now, before we even get to this, D'Lo has been playing great this season. He started off slow, but has been slowly getting better every game. But there's something interesting I noticed, and I'm sure a lot of Lakers fans have too. AD is averaging 15.3 field goal attempts per game. D'Angelo Russell, 14.8. Both are basically averaging the same amount of field goal attempts every game. This is not going to win the Lakers a championship. Yes, D'Lo is playing good, but he has to understand that he's not a first option, nor is he the second option. And you could even argue when sharing the floor with Reeves, he's not even a third option. D'Lo is playing well, but to win games, you cannot have an 18 point per game scorer who isn't capable of giving you 30 on elite efficiency every game match your superstar big in field goal attempts. I'm sure any reasonable basketball fan would rather have an AD led team than D'Lo. D'Lo needs to feed AD the ball, and this statement goes for the rest of the Lakers players too, but D'Lo is one of the main reasons for AD's unusually bad performances. Oh well, AD needs to call for the ball. Imagine Bron having the need to call for the ball on his own team. It's clear the Lakers is AD and Bron's team, but D'Lo thinks otherwise, and there are many other problems with the Lakers. The coaching has been terrible this season. The Lakers got 2 big men in the offseason, Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood. The AD himself said that he's not a center, but a power forward, and this statement has some merit to it, as the Lakers won their championship with AD at the 4. And not only because of the championship, AD has always been a power forward before a center, but Darvin Ham for some reason wants to make it harder for AD to dominate. It's already bad enough that he won't tell his point guard to feed their superstar the ball, but playing him out of position, even after the multiple statements he's made, and the team's addition of those bigs, just puts AD into a bad situation. Now to be very clear, I'm not excusing AD for his bad performance last night. 9 points is unacceptable, but only getting to put the ball up 9 times as a superstar is also unacceptable too. It's not like AD can dribble dribble it on the floor and hand himself the ball. As a point guard, D'Lo's supposed to get AD involved. After all, D'Lo said himself that the Wolves did not allow him to be that point guard. Yet, as you can clearly see, him being the point guard is holding AD back. There's only so much Anthony Davis can control, and it's real unfortunate fans will be quick to blame him for his so-called inconsistent level of play, but not actually see the reasons why. Anthony Davis is being placed with expectations some of the greatest power forwards of all time didn't have. Whether you like it or not, he's been meeting them. Anyways, share your opinions about this down below in the comments. I thought this was quite interesting to talk about, but if you enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next one.